Welcome to Grade 1 View, the podcast for future CRNAs by future CRNAs. A new series of Beyond the Mask supported by AANA.
Whether you're about to graduate from a nurse anesthesia program, trying to get accepted to nursing school, or you're somewhere in between.
This podcast is a resource and safe space for all things nurse anesthesia.
We're your host team. I'm Kevin Chem.
I'm Olivia Kahn.
I'm Charity Garno.
And I'm Larry Sears. So grab your Mac or your Miller, turn up your flows, and get ready, because this is Grade 1 View. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Grade 1 View, the podcast for future CRNAs by future CRNAs. We are coming here from the AANA Congress in Nashville, Tennessee, and we have a really cool and special episode. We have not done an episode with RNs yet, so we thought it would be really neat to do an episode with some RNs and have them talk about their experience being ICU nurses and the idea of navigating and getting into CRNA school and, you know, how their experience has been at Congress and things like that. And I would like to introduce them here. I am here along with Kevin Chem.
Hello. How's it going?
All right, we have two beautiful RNs here, Jasmine and Damilola. I would let you two introduce yourselves and tell listeners a little bit about you. Can we start with Damilola?
My name is Damilola Olarenwaju. I'm currently a pediatric ICU nurse at UCSF Benioff Children's in Oakland, California.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine Dhalla. I'm currently a neurotrauma ICU nurse at UCLA, and I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all, for joining us. We kind of just pulled these guys randomly out of the crowd, and we were like, come talk to us. And they were like, okay. This is like the first year that the AANA has implemented having RNs, you know, not just residents and CRNAs participate at this convention. How did you find out about it? What was your process in deciding, you know, I want to go for this. I want to see how it is. Because I feel like even as a resident, it's like kind of nerve-wracking to come to this for the first time. So I couldn't imagine doing it as an RN. So maybe, Dami, you can start.
Yeah. So I found out about the AANA while I was at the California Association of Nurse Anesthetists conference last year in Newport Beach, California. There was a booth there, and I saw the AANA had a booth there. So I spoke to them. After I did that, I saw that I explored the page. They told me while I was there that they were starting to introduce RNs and they were going to have a special RN sector. So I joined that day. So I've actually been an RN member since the moment that they allowed it.
That's amazing.
And I have since then used a lot of the opportunities that they have provided to RNs after meeting them.
Can you tell us about some of those?
Yeah. The first thing being CRNA Insight. While I was there, it was still being formulated, and then I believe it was launched this year, which is an educational forum for RNs. I've learned so much from those videos that I've watched: pathophysiology, pharmacology, ways to stand out as a good applicant for a CRNA school. And then another opportunity that I got was applying to be on a committee as an RN member.
That's great.
And so I am now in the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee as an RN.
That's so cool. So these RN members who are part of the committee, they got to actually join us in the committee luncheon and in the committee meetings this morning, way early in the morning at like 7 a.m. But we may do it. It's really cool to see, and I wish I had these opportunities as an RN. How about you, Jasmine?
So for me, I actually had a coworker that had recommended attending just to kind of learn more about the profession and make connections. And I was kind of nervous at first to attend as an RN. But when I got here, the nerves went away right away. This community is so supportive, whether it's just like meeting other RNs that are going through the same thing as you, meeting student CRNAs like you guys who are so approachable. And also I've met a lot of CRNAs that, you know, I'll be at a random booth and they'll hop in and start just teaching, and they love to teach. So I think just being here, and it helps to come with a friend too. I came with one of my coworkers, Gabby, shout out Gabby. And I also brought my boyfriend. So having a +1 is also an option. And it's really cool because, you know, they can kind of see the world of a nurse anesthesia. And there's lots of cool events that are also available for people like not even in the field.
That's amazing, because I feel like it's really overwhelming to kind of come to a place like this. It's huge. There's so many different places. There's so many different faces to meet, and having someone with you, kind of to help navigate that, to help ease the nerves. I'm sure that was really cool to kind of be able to experience that with him. Is your boyfriend not in nurse anesthesia, right?
Yeah, he's not in nurse anesthesia at all. He watched this one presentation that had 2 professors from Kaiser performed like a self-intubation. So he got to see really cool stuff. And, the events at the end of the day as well, they're able to attend.
I'm just curious a little bit with kind of each of you, if maybe each of you can answer it. What has kind of been your why, or like what made you say, you know what, I think I want to go into nurse anesthesia? Like, what was your kind of why? Because that's also like a great kind of, interview question. And that's probably something that every place is going to ask you. So like, what is your, why do I want to be a nurse anesthetist? Sorry to put you on the spot, right?
No, it's okay. So I've been a nurse for 8 years. I worked through the pandemic. I was working in New York, in the Bronx.
Ooh, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
March 2020, one of the first group of nurses that was deployed there. They were turning small areas in the hospitals into makeshift ICUs, and we did not have any intensivists to run these ICUs. They were asking on the news for doctors to come and volunteer and help. We had podiatrists, gynecologists, and a lot of gists that did not have recent experience with...
I like that, a lot of gists.
That did not have recent experience with, I don't know, vasoactive drips, ventilators, just anything, putting in art lines. But the people that came to save the day, and as dramatic as it sounds, are CRNAs. They were displaced from where they were working, I want to say like somewhere in Florida, and they came out to help. And honestly, they came and I saw their full scope of practice. They were intubating patients. They were dropping lines. They were able to titrate the drips. There's certain things, like I know that, you guys do maintenance for the OR, and it's different than someone going in the ICU and them staying longer. But you know what? We all got down and dirty together, and we were reading books and, making sure that we were staying on top of things. Things were going on around the world, and we didn't know how to tackle it. And I saw that, and I aspired to be that. I wanted to be, someone who could make effective change for a patient. I wanted to learn more so that I could do more. And that's when I, kind of the glimmer went in my head about being a CRNA.
Wow, that's incredibly powerful. I mean, March 2020 was a crazy time for anyone in healthcare, but especially if you were in New York for those first, 2-3 months, that's incredibly powerful. What about you, Jasmine?
For me, I think there were a few things that kind of sparked my interest in, for anesthesia. I think the first thing was starting as a new grad nurse on night shift. There were not a lot of resources, and we had one fellow for the entire 24-bed ICU. So, if a patient started, declining neurologically, the resource nurses always taught us have anesthesia on speed dial in case they can't intubate. Yeah. So I think I kind of learned early on how important their role was. And I, watched them save the day in front of my eyes. And I think the second thing was one of my favorite things to do at the bedside was like high stakes bedside procedures like trach placements, and kind of being the one who was managing the vitals and the patient's pain and comfort. I think after I shadowed a CRNA for the first time, that's what really solidified, like, this is what I want to do. I think just seeing like, wow, this is a nurse doing all of this. And it was just so much skill and knowledge. But then I think, the part that drew me in was just like that deep, meaningful connection before surgery, during and after. And yeah, just kind of fell in love with it. And I was like, I can do this for the rest of my life.
That's great.
That's amazing. Yeah, definitely. I kind of have my little similar story to that was like, me and Dami are both peds nurses. I was in the pediatric cardiac ICU, and I had a situation in which I had 3 months off of orientation, and I was doing like bedside balloon atrial septoscopy on a patient. And I was like, me? You want me here? You know what I mean? It was just really interesting to see such like a high stakes procedure at the bedside. This little tiny baby, you're putting a hole in, in their heart. Like, with a cardiac cath. It was like, that was like my introduction as well into kind of nurse anesthesia and doing these high stakes procedures at the bedside that really made me want to be a CRNA as well. So that's cool.
That's amazing.
Great.
What about you, Kevin? What?
Yeah, man. Me, I
didn't realize we were going to answer this question.
I want to know. I want to know.
I don't know, man. I feel like growing up, I was just like I was bullied a lot in like middle and high school. I thought that I was just going to like not be much. But I got surgery when I was like 17 and I was very scared out of my mind. And there were a lot of people coming in the room, nurses, surgeons, techs, whatever. But the one person who really like kneeled down, talked to me, made me feel like it was going to be okay was the CRNA. I don't think he even meant to do it. I think he just like did it. It was just, that was just, how it was. And I remember like they made me take my contacts out. So he had to help walk me to the bathroom and stuff. And it was just like that holistic care. I actually asked for my like anesthetic notes from like a decade ago now. So I'm hoping after I pass, I can reach out to him and let him know. Cause it was just, it was a really cool like moment. And I don't think anyone knew like I don't think he knew that he did that, obviously. And like whenever I show up to the bedside, I always think that like this could be someone who I'm influencing for the rest of their life. Cause I mean that like 10-second interaction completely changed the trajectory of my life. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a wild ride. I'll tell you that.
I think that's one of the things that makes CRNAs specifically special in nurse anesthesia is that we are nurses first, and we have like, we are nurses, and we talk to patients, and we are dealing with them all the time, and we have great bedside manner, and we know how to communicate and make people feel comfortable. So I think that's one of the things that makes, of all anesthesia providers, CRNAs like really special.
I think we have like our next hosts already. These guys are very well spoken. They're good question answers. Everything.
You.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Sorry for putting you on the spot, flashing you back to interview.
Love it, though. Y'all are quick on your feet.
No, one thing that I thought about as you were speaking, and just speaking of the profession as a whole, and like having like little catalysts throughout the way, I will say I'm seeing evidence-based practice like in front of me, and that's with mentorship. I was connected with my mentor, who is a CRNA, and she's the one that told me to go to CANA. And then from there, things just continued to transpire on. And now, I mean, I'm not in school yet, but like I'm helping people with the knowledge that I was given by someone. And I got here, and this environment is so intoxicating. And like she said, people are just jumping in conversations and just want to help you. They're like, oh, you're an RN? Go to my school. You should do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so cool seeing the membership change as time goes by. I mean, if you look in the room we're in right now, we have like 5 different colors of minority.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And it didn't look like this probably 10, 20 years ago. So it's awesome. Now, I want to go back to this conference a little bit and being an RN member. I feel like if I was a nurse, I would be like, what can I even see here? You know what I mean? Do you guys feel like you've been included? Do you feel like things have been geared towards you? Or is it probably better that it's like not, and you're like watching from maybe not the outside in, but a different perspective?
I'm a little biased because this was my first national conference, but I went to a regional conference, AANA regional conference a couple months ago. I was actually able to take some things back to the bedside.
That's cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like I think as an RN, we're still working with kind of the same drips that you're working with, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know the why behind, or the new evidence-based practice, like I learned that they're using fentanyl at some facilities, and the reason why it's a lot better than using fentanyl and things like that. I was able to take that back, and I spoke to the director of the PICU about that, and was like, why don't they do this in kids? I think this is amazing, So yeah, I do think I'm able to make some connections. This morning there was a talk on vasopressin or
you use that, don't you? Use that probably a lot.
We use it, yeah.
How about you, Jasmine?
Yeah, for me as a first timer to one of these events, I really liked how you could kind of tailor the event to your specific interests. So for me, I'm a neuro nurse. I, of course, start all the neuro talks. I love that patient population. Also, all the wellness. Like, that's also every wellness event. That's how I met you guys. I was there.
That was so fun, by the way.
I know, it was fun.
I hope they do that again next year. I feel like people like that one.
Yeah. And also just attending the kind of like preparing RNs to go back to school event. I feel like there's so many events for us to go to, no matter what background you come from. There's going to be something here that you're interested in. So I've been enjoying that.
Do y'all have a favorite event? I mean, the College Bowl. The College Bowl hasn't happened yet.
And I truly enjoyed the College Bowl at the region. That was good.
Absolutely.
I love kids, so anything pediatric, like.
Was there ped stuff?
There was.
There was a lot.
Yeah.
Cool.
There was.
Cool.
I think my favorite clinical event, there was like a modern epilepsy surgery one, and I learned lots of cool stuff in there. Have you guys heard about like SEEG surgery? I haven't heard of that. I don't think we do that at UCLA. And then probably, let me think. I think my favorite wellness event was probably the resident one.
That's so
that
good to hear.
Yeah.
I would say my favorite was the impact, like the first one, like the first day.
Oh, cool.
And he did. It was the guy who used to be a drummer for.
The opening ceremony, like the
That was incredible because he's reminding us of the impact that we have on people in every role that you're in, and to remember that the impact that you had.
Yep.
Now
Absolutely.
you're going to be CRNA, impacting people.
Yeah.
That I enjoyed that one.
Did you guys go to the video laryngoscopy one?
Yeah, that was fantastic.
That one was
Yeah.
cool. That probably was up there too.
My anesthesia hot take was that we all need to just start using the glide scope. But apparently that's just evidence-based practice these days.
We use that in the ICU like 100% of the time, so I didn't realize that it wasn't a common practice outside of the ICU.
When you get to school, you will learn.
Yeah. There's some cowboys out there.
There's some contention between video laryngoscopy and direct laryngoscopy, and a lot of that's generational. A lot of it's kind of, preference-based and stuff like that.
The really cool thing about that specific event was that they were talking about how it's better for our generation to learn, using a screen because we're so used to it, and how the preceptor and the learner can look at the same screen at the same time. So I like how we're kind of tailoring it to residents as well.
It's kind of funny too, because like when you look at the question, I don't remember exactly what the question was, but it was basically like, is video laryngoscopy better or is it safer? And I feel like there's no one on earth that would say no, right? So the question is, why aren't we using it 100% of the time? You know what I mean? So it was really cool to kind of have them break down and quantify how it's safer, better first pass rates, and also talking about cost savings, over a 5-year period. It was a really cool talk.
Would y'all come again? What would you say to RNs who are looking or thinking about this? Is it worth the chunk of change that you had to give up for it?
A little chunk of money.
I think personally that it is an investment. It's what you make of it. And we were talking about it earlier. You have to be the one to make the connections. You have to be the one. And also just let things happen naturally. Some of my favorite conversations just happened out of nowhere. For me, I had so many meaningful moments in this conference that I think it's worth it. And also you get to travel around a new city. I have never been to Nashville. So I was like, it's an excuse to go here and travel. So
I would 100% recommend it. It's fun, number one. Like, it's a lot of fun. Did y'all go
to the Party with a Purpose?
Yeah. I feel like
the
I used the word earlier, but the environment really is intoxicating. Like, it's a lot of fun. And then you get to learn at the same time. So why not? Also, I would say this, like she said, like, you make the most of it. If you're coming here with ill intentions, then you'll get ill intentions out of it, I feel like. But if you come in here with the purest intentions, you're around generations of CRNAs. You're going to hear from someone who's been a CRNA for 35 years. You're going to hear from someone who's been a CRNA for 6 months. And you're going to hear from a first-year resident and a third-year resident. So I don't know any other environment where you can see every step of the way and where people just really just want to help you and figure you out. And it's 100% worth it.
I want to kind of live vicariously through you guys because I didn't go to the Party with a Purpose. I was in my room.
Yeah, that's
ordering room service.
That is just fine. Everyone's got their thing. Or maybe you just missed it.
You missed it.
Yeah.
I don't even know I don't even want to describe it, to be honest. Go to Party with a Purpose once. If it's for you, if it's for not, you're not. Everyone has their thing. Yeah, but you paid money for it. So probably, because now it's just included with our badges. Before it was like an extra thing, and then, I don't know. It's a lot. Like last year's was on an aircraft carrier. It was really cool, though.
Yeah, in San Diego, it was cool. Yeah. We talked about it a little bit or touched on it a little bit, but have you had any opportunity of actually talking to like program directors or actually programs and stuff like that? Can you kind of maybe talk about that experience? Because I feel like it's really not common. Like you were saying, Dami, you have so many different generations here of CRNAs, everything from, you've been practicing 35 years to you've been practicing, you're a first year resident. So have you been able to kind of like utilize and leverage, the networking and different programs and program directors and,
Oh, yeah. And that's the reason why I said authenticity is important, because like she said, you fall into random conversations. You may have a few program directors that you've been stalking, so you know what they look like, but you fall into random conversations sometimes and you just met the program director.
It's cool, isn't it?
And you could be, I'm a tennis fanatic.
Me too.
Oh, really? Okay. And so like I like going to the US Open and so sometimes we're literally just talking about tennis and going to the US Open, and this program director's in this conversation with me out of nowhere. They see me as a person. It's like an interview before you get an interview. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go to their school. You may not necessarily get into those schools, but the connections last a lifetime. You're not coming into this profession just to, get into school. Number one, you want to stay in school. And then number two, you kind of want to stay in this organization in AANA after you graduate. And I'm seeing the importance of that. So yeah, I've met a lot of program directors. It's been amazing.
For me, I also met a few. A lot of them are speaking at, these events. I think one of the most meaningful things is actually talking to CRNAs that went to specific programs like you guys and asking, how is the culture there?
Yeah.
So I feel like this is one of the best places to do it because there's people from everywhere.
Absolutely.
And they're so willing to share their experiences.
It's almost like a cheat code, really. I mean, you get so much access to so many people, and they do say the anesthesia world is small. In my experience, it's like a rule of like twos, like you talk to one person, they know the other person. Like it's that small, which is a good and a bad thing I've come to learn. And I think it's like 68,000 members of the AANA or something close to that. Don't quote me. And I think 4,000 participate. It's pretty phenomenal. And I think we'll be getting those numbers. It goes up every single year too. So what are your plans? What are you going to do after you get out of here?
Actually, apply.
Yeah, seriously. No, actually though, yeah.
I'm in the process of applying right now. I'm a big advocate on if one door closes, like find another one and open it up yourself. And pivoting, I am like not your typical applicant. I've been retaking classes. I'm currently in advanced pathophysiology. All advice given to me by CRNAs or program directors that I've met at AANA. And just applying to school, putting my best foot forward, making sure that I actually understand the information and then I'm not just taking the class just to get into school. I'm seeing the connections now when I sit in these conferences and I sit in the rooms. I see why it's important to know what receptor something works on, and because it could, if you give them something and they have this pre-existing disease and it could affect, I'm seeing that now and taking these classes, chemistry, physics, and all these things all over again, biochemistry. It's kind of helping me kind of pick up the information a little bit sooner. So
I'm also just going to be applying. I was writing essays last night.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wasting no time, huh?
Yeah. I think no one talks about how hard being a full-time ICU nurse, that's a hard job in itself. But then coming home and having to, like you said, retake classes, personal statements. Every school has a different essay prompts. But I think the good in that is going to conferences like these and just being in the process of applying to school, you do approach your job at the bedside kind of differently. Like you do want to know, why am I doing this? And kind of understand, why is this provider ordering this instead of this? Because you are going to be the one,
it's crazy,
writing orders one day.
Yeah.
I try to always remember there's so much things going on and you want to be a competitive applicant, but I'm like, you are competing against yourself. You should try to be like the best version of yourself.
Absolutely. So we'll see you guys in some capacity probably next year, right?
Oh, yeah.
You thinking about it?
Our badge colors are changing next year. It's going to say resident instead of RN,
You're
APRN.
manifesting it.
Oh, yeah.
You're manifesting it. Do you have anything else to say? Any questions? Any recommendations for the association?
I think the RN events were definitely super helpful. Looking forward to going to Boston next year. And to all the ICU nurses out there applying, you guys got this. We're in this together.
If they wanted to do something, I know there's so many professors here, and I know they like to teach. maybe some actual RN focused, like educational classes, like a back to basics, chemistry, you know, because it's not everybody that'll go back and take classes or patho, and I think that'll be amazing.
Like a little crash course or
That'll be amazing, because the way you apply yourself once you know why you're doing something is a lot different, and then you're kind of able to scale up from there.
Well, that's great, and we're thankful that y'all came out. It's the first time we're wrapping up here. There's a bunch of people like taking down this
what's
hall.
going on out there?
It's usually we don't get to see the behind the scenes, but we're getting the warning.
We're in a box in the middle of a conference right now.
I just want to plug a few things, right? This is the first year membership. They only thought it would be like 400 people that signed up, but we got 1,700 RN members. It's great.
Wow.
Yeah. Where there's an RN's AANA School Finder, which we had our own kind of coming up, but this is like an official school finder now. And on Thursday, October 9th at 7 p.m. via Zoom, we will be having a RN to APRN conversation circle, which is a space for RNs to connect with residents and CRNAs, to ask their burning questions about getting into school, becoming a CRNA, etc. Again, resources that weren't around before, so it'll be cool to see.
If you are going to come to the conference and network with the program directors, the one advice I will give you is know about the school. Like, don't ask them questions that are on their website.
Yes.
Some conversations you're going to fall into, you can't know all 140 something schools, but know about the schools. Don't ask them like if they're front loaded, things that you can find out on the website. Go to them with meaningful conversation.
I concur.
They're talking to thousands of people. They're so tired of answering that question.
It's still a professional conference. You should still do your research.
That is one kind of funny thing that I've kind of noticed talking to my peers who are program directors now. They're getting talked to by a lot of RN APRNs, which is fine. That's why we're here. It's a great, we're happy to have that. It's great that we have that close connection now. But like you said, if you're going to come at them, make sure, one, it's an appropriate time, and two, you know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Heavy on appropriate time. If they're taking a shot, don't ask them.
Right.
Yeah, or if they're coming into the bathroom, if they're going into the bathroom, if they're talking to somebody, it's just some,
It's the same as a celebrity. Be aware.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be a fan. Just introduce yourself.
Play it cool,
Don't
man.
interrupt their conversation.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They are celebrities in my eyes.
They're celebrities in mine. I'm like, oh, there's Dr. Da-da-da.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thanks again. Larry, you got any other questions?
I think it's so cool that they're letting RNs come here and they're finally, making a space for RNs. And hopefully you were saying a little bit before, Dami, about maybe they can have some RN focused things. I think it'd be really cool if they have even something ran by program directors or a talk ran by program directors for RNs talking about how to get into school and different tips and stuff like that. So I think it's amazing, and I cannot wait for you next year to be residents when you come here.
Manifesting it. Thank you.
Dami, Jasmine, have a good rest of your conference.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Of course.
This is so fun.
Appreciate you.
Want to be the voice of the next season of Grade 1 View? Well, we're looking for new hosts for Season 2, launching in 2026. If you're a CRNA student or resident with at least 12 months left in your program, this is your chance to grab a mic and shape the conversation. Apply by November 1st at aana.com/G1V, or just check the description of today's show for a link. Let your voice be heard on Grade 1 View.